All right, baby. Here we are. Here we are. BWO podcast Wednesday night. Tonight's guest,
BWO,
Appreciate y'all checking in, baby.
BWO, let's
Joel
get it. Let's get it.
DJ Joey Duval.
What's going on? Yeah. What's popping, y'all? What's popping, everybody? How y'all
Yeah, man.
doing?
Glad to have you, bro. I'm gonna give you a quick little introduction, man. Y'all, this is Joel with No Bullish Kennels. Got his hands in a lot of things, does some DJing, into making dog treats. We're gonna let him tell you all about that later. But right now we're gonna get into talking about the dogs. One of the first dogs, one of still my favorite dogs. Shots fired. He's the owner. He's the one who pushed him and trained him, got him all the way up to number three. Finished number three, had him at number one. But if you've ever been in that race, it's by the weekend sometimes. But yeah, we're just gonna get into it with my man. Gonna get into it and ask him some questions about some dogs and kind of get his outtake on what's going on, how it's changed. Just talk about everything with him. So
Let's
y'all
get
got
it.
any questions? Please let Jerry know.
Let's get it.
I got a little
Well, I
delay
guess
on
I
my
guess
end.
do what?
I got a little delay on my end, but go ahead.
No, dude. Well, I guess the
I
standard first question for these things always is, Joel, is how did you get involved with the American Bullies?
uh well, uh, it was just to purchase one as a pet. It was through a friend named Chief in Rhode Island, and he had a female that was he sold me on Dax. Like, he showed me his picture. I didn't know nothing about American Bullies dogs, period. And I looked at the dog. I was like, man, that dog looks dope, And then he showed me his dog, and his dog looked nothing like that dog. It looked more like a more like a pit bull. But I loved her because she was one of those dogs that loved her owner. She was one of those dogs that that would jump out of a window if she would see her owner or hear her owner yelling, or run through a screen door or something like that. When he's yelling outside for uh nobody would come close to his car, when if he didn't want them close to the car, he just said a simple word. And and I fell in love with that girl because um I when I seen the aggression, and I seen the intimidation that she brought, with her. I was intimidated, but at the same time, I could go into his house and she would love on me like I was her owner. And I was like, wow, man, th- th- this is a bad stigma, So I was questioning, is this a pit bull? And he was like, nah, it's a bull. But he didn't know all the ins and outs because he didn't really know it all anyway. He was new himself. So I had a chance to get a puppy off of that litter for $500. And I was like, off of a litter that he did, of a breeding that he did. And I jumped on it, and that was my first dog. Bane hates Batman. And
How far back was that?
2000 and 2013.
Oh, okay. So
It
you
was
got your first
2000.
bully like 11 years ago?
My first dog, period.
Oh, your first dog. Okay.
Yes,
Oh
it was
wow.
in 2013. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Then Siren the Temptress came through my boy Justin. Um and She was a dog that my daughter wanted, and we ended up terrorizing the ABKC with her. I didn't even know what we had with her. And I love competition, and I'm the type of person that will act like I don't know that you're pissed off at me when I just handle my business. So there's people mad because I showed up out of nowhere with this female. How does this guy know how to stack up a dog? We never seen this guy before. He just pops up out of nowhere. He knows how to stack up he knows how to gate this female, but they didn't understand that I was getting knowledge from Tone. I was getting knowledge from Marco Garcia. I was getting knowledge from the Dean, you know, Anthony Gray. I was getting knowledge from so many people because through Tone, but these people were giving me the knowledge because I was Tone's people. And it was beautiful that I was getting this open access to all of this knowledge. But when I'll talk about that, further on, because in the future I
Yeah.
looked at it and said, man, this is wrong because this knowledge is only given to people that are part of the crew, part of the clique, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't feel that was fair. So I started sharing this knowledge, and I was looked at and it was frowned upon when I first started doing it. And that's when the bully world started going live. I think it was FW started doing it first, and then I followed after FW with the raw diet online and stuff like that, sharing my knowledge online with the raw diet.
Oh, so
Okay.
you just mean about just sharing knowledge in general?
No, it was strictly diet. It was strictly raw diet.
No,
It
I mean
wasn't.
with FW and then you, and you talk
Oh,
about you were sharing.
FW was on there promoting himself and his hosting.
His MC stuff, yeah.
He
Right.
was showing his skill on live to the world, actually, to the dog world, that I'm the man. This is, he was showing his, that he was charismatic. He was showing that, he had no fear. And anybody can do this, you just got to grind. So FW was the first person in the bully community to go live and to represent the American bully
Oh,
that I know.
okay. Okay.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I learned something today.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that either.
Yes.
How long? When did you get shots fired? So, like, when you got your first dog, how long did it take you? And you said you terrorized the ABKC with the other dog. But like, in your opinion, the shots your most, I don't know.
Successful dog that
Yeah,
I've had.
yeah, yes, sir.
Yes, that I'm proud to say that. Siren the Temptress is a female, so it was kind of hard. We got 2 champion wins with her. That's the furthest that we got with her. But a champion win in 2016, 2017 is huge. It's big because the show world was shoulder to shoulder. Hey, you just stepped on my shoes type shows back then, when it was packed. Like, it was packed, and there was so many dogs that the champion class sometimes had to split up in 3 shows, 2
Wow.
shows. That, and the grand champion class it was filled. Sometimes had to split in 2 shows. So
Wow.
that this is when it was super competitive to get a champion win. That's why I think we'll get into that later. But yeah, I'll get into that later. But this it brings a lot of things to bring up with the show world, and the W's that people are actually getting. The people that I came up with in the show, it's not really impressive. It is impressive because it's work. We know the work that we have to do to get our dogs to that level, to get our dogs to gate right. People don't understand there's a distance that judges look where your dog is at and where you at, to understand that you've been working with this dog. There's a distance that a dog carries from you if you've been actually working with this dog.
Positioning is important.
Everything is important when you in there.
Yep.
Everything is important because you got people on the sideline. Some people that when I was coming up, they didn't like your dog. So if they didn't like your dog, they waited till your dog was in a resting position where your dog looks like it has a sway back, where your dog looks like it has a high rear, where your dog
Oh, they're still doing that.
East and Westy. Yeah. But this one, it was at its all-time high when they had actual platforms for the smoke. They had actual platforms for and it was filled with drama, and it was like the out bully world versus the ABKC and anything that was in it. So it really wasn't the people, it was really the ABKC. It was just the people that was being attacked within the community.
Well,
Right.
I'm gonna say this, Joel. I'm gonna say from the time I started was kind of the time you were kind of like, done did your thing, and you were on the last few years with shots, and I had the pleasure of, going up against you in a couple shows and getting to meet, the dog, and you're one of the people I never got a win over, bro. So you're still on that list. I never got to knock you down, so I'm hoping one day we can meet again. But in my time from when I started, I saw the decline in the shows. Like you would go to Arkansas and it would be like you said. I mean, not necessarily shoulder to shoulder, but it would be a packed building. I mean, it would be people. It would be people that wouldn't even have a dog or anything. There would be just as many of those people as there were people showing. And there towards the end, it was literally just the people showing. And then sometimes it was like you couldn't even fill the building. Going back to where you talk about competition, that's where I'd like to see for it to get again, man. Before I come back out, I just feel like I agree with you on the competition. The competition, and I didn't get to see the competition you went through, but there were times where they had to split, But man, like the last year or so, it was none of that. It was like, damn, do we have enough to even have a damn class,
Yeah.
And not every show was like that. There would be some shows that would be a little better, but just bringing that up, how do you feel in I don't know how many years you say you've been in it?
Since 2014, since 2015, actually. That's
so 9 years, 10 years. I mean, in your opinion, how's it changed, and do you has it because it seemed like the last few years there's been a lot of changes from the standards, right? Like, has that always been something like in the back, like,
I
or is
think
that something that just came about these couple years?
I think the standard is finally being upheld. And to my opinion, I've talked about this on my platform many a times. There's people that talk about the standard has changed this time and that time has changed this year, and it actually hasn't. If you actually look at the standard, the written standard, your dog does not look like an American bully. If you look at from the muzzle to the stop, just the headpiece in general, let's just take everything out and just go with this, because this is a headpiece dog. This is the first thing people see with this dog is their headpiece.
Well, and that's true with all breeds, right? I mean, the head is
Right. It distinguishes who this dog is. But this breed in general, because of how compact the dog is, how broad in the cheeks, how the cheeks there's a lot of big-headed dogs, but there's not that many big-headed dogs with the cheek that carry that cheek muscle like a golf ball or a softball, and that to add
yeah.
to the effect of the head. So that is what I mean by this dog is distinguished by its head, because you could just take a silhouette of an American bully head and put it up, and we automatically know what that dog is. Well, most people, the uneducated person would know what that dog is, might I say, not the people within the dog community. But I think people are tallying up to get back into the ring with this I don't want to say new concept, but the concept that the ABKC is pushing through the standard.
Well, there's been a shift. It may be not necessarily dramatic, but there's been a shift, last 5 years.
I also think money is involved as well. I also think that the influx of hype dogs that people are pushing on to the public that aren't that healthy, these smaller frame dogs, it seems like we've gotten away from the standard American bully, and we're going more smaller and shorter, which is not very good for this breed. I think we're too early into this breed where we want to go back. I wouldn't say backwards, but go smaller with these dogs. I think we need to perfect the creme de la creme of the American bully, which is the standard American Bully, and that which was a standard a standard American Bully is just a beautiful specimen.
dog. Yeah.
Because it how it moves is totally different. I'm sorry, y'all. Hold on.
Yeah, but I mean, I understand that the the standard is written and it's been written and that hasn't changed. More, I want to ask him more like, how have you seen like how I guess he is answering it. I guess he's saying now they're finally like upholding the standard. I guess they finally felt like they got enough dogs, that size. Where I disagree. I don't think they had enough.
Yeah.
As far as like, I don't think they had enough enough dogs like Blue, like Zero, to change the class,
My bad, man. My light went
Yeah.
out, man. I apologize, y'all.
You good, man? I like you set up.
Thank you. I really appreciate
But
it, man.
but I was just telling Jerry, like I know the standard's been written and everything. So you feel like they're just now starting to uphold it, and that's why people like me that just came in, say 4 or 5 years ago, are kind of like, we feel like we're seeing like a drastic change, whereas somebody like you've seen it, for 9 years, 10 years, where I've only seen it, half that, But to me, it was like, oh, like from when I first started, and then like, actually, bro, the show, we were in Louisiana. Remember, we was walking around that green shit, Joel.
Yeah, I remember.
I mean, it was a good show. I'm not hating on the show, but I mean that will forever stick in my mind.
That was during COVID too. So
That's right. That's right. But that's when the judges, remember, they started doing a lot of moving. Remember, people walking outside the ring, mad as hell. He just told me I got a classic, and that's when that was back in the day when, if you had a classic, you wasn't nobody, right? But now you see a big shift of the classic class is like the biggest class at all these shows now.
Right.
In my opinion, I think, I mean, I like, to me, I agree 100%. Standard is where it's at. That's what we're still trying to produce one over here. That's definitely the end goal for us. But, to see, I don't know, I just wanted to see more Blues and more Zeros before they made that change. Like I wanted to see more shots fired, more Blues, more Zeros that competed before. I ain't saying they're not out there, but like, that were big and could move, because that's what impressed me about Shots when I first saw him. And then, you keep showing, and there's bigger dogs out there, but can they move? Like, where I think he's a fine line of, and Blue too and Zero too, but they could have moved a little better,
But I'm gonna say this: I gave them dogs the business before, when Shots was in his prime, and those were young dogs. They were young, upcoming dogs. Those I seen it. I was like, man, I'm gonna have to move out the way quick, because I'm dead serious. I seen these dogs coming. I seen Zero. I seen Blue. I seen these dogs coming, and I was like, yo, I only got like maybe another year before these dogs take over, and I'm gonna have to revamp, because I can't compete. I can't compete with anything in the ring that I have right now, or the direction that I'm going in. There's no way that I can compete with these dogs that meet the standard, or do I want to bring a dog out that's a little old school, a little terrier type looking, that still has that bulky body? No, I don't want to do that. I want to have that total package. So that's why I haven't been in the ring, and I can understand if I'm not the only person that was showing that's thinking like this, man. There's a lot of us that want to get it right. That there's a lot of us that were in the top, not just top 5, that were in the top 10. When you're in the top 10, that whole thing is different. Your dog is different from these other dogs, man. Even if your dog is number 10, your dog is different from the dog that's 11, because why? That dog is outside. That dog's outside shivering when it's raining, while you in the house in the heat, you eating good meals, getting cut up by a butler, you eating out of a bowl, You know, can't use no hands outside. But nah, what it's different when even when you're number 10. And I don't think that's left. I think that's people still want that. It's just people are revamping to get um back to where they, because I don't want to get clowned. They know what they don't.
100%.
They know what not to bring into the show ring, and
Right. That's right.
this is not easy to cook up. Um, to cook up where you've been at in a like before. It's not easy because this brings it back to breeding, and how do you breed? It's easy to buy a dog or purchase a dog and show that dog, win with that dog, get that good ticket with that dog on breedings and all that stuff. But the hardest thing to do is to follow up that act. That's the hardest thing to do is follow. I'm not talking about champions. I'm not talking about just getting your dog to grand champion. I'm talking about a dog that can run. That dog that makes dogs run, where you can go into a show and people know you're going to that show and people aren't showing up because your dog's going to be there and they're like, there's no chance in hell I'm beating that dog. You know,
You at least, in my opinion, like I said, doing what we did too. If I ain't got a chance to win a best in show every show, I'm not going. You know what I mean? I'm not. I mean, I want to. I'm like you. I want to sit back. I want to breed. I think that's very important. The shows are fun and stuff, but man, if you've been to a certain level, like you said, I mean, you know what to bring and what not to bring, and
Yeah, well, let me tell you
man.
something. You both suck because I ain't been to a best in show yet. So
You you get it, bro. Just keep
hey,
working hard,
I'm
man.
still working. So
I didn't really care about best in shows. Best in shows was cool. I really
best in
cared
breed,
about best in breed was the most
best in
important to
breed.
me.
Well,
I
that's what
did
I'm
Best
make it
saying.
to
Have a dog that
best
can
in
win
breed
best of
twice,
breed every
but
time.
best in breed
You know,
twice for me. But that's as far as I've gotten.
that's point.
with shots, man, we would we would I would never say, and I'm gonna be honest about this. Every show we went to, I was looking just to compete. I wasn't looking to win.
Yeah,
Because of the caliber of dogs that were showing then, it was different. It was just different. It was just, you can't get hyped up and say, oh, I'm gonna bust this dog. It wasn't that easy. It wasn't that easy to go out there and just say, because there was female dogs out there at that time that was doing that was I produced one, that beat the national, the best in breed winning dog for that year, which was Hove that year,
well, in the part of the country that you're from is just thick with good dogs.
oh my goodness, the East. And we traveled. We was in Rhode Island, so everything was 10 hours plus away from us.
Brutal.
We actually traveled and we gained the respect of the American bully community because people knew that we were coming. And oh, where they at? Oh, they ain't coming 15 hours away. Duval, you'll hear that when we walk in the door, and people were like, oh man, we relished on spoiling people's day by our presence because we knew that it was a competitive spirit. It really wasn't personal. It was a more competitive thing. And I'm one of them dudes. If I'm boxing you and we're in a match and I'm just jabbing you, I'm jabbing, and your nose is broke, it's split to the side. I'm gonna go for that nose each time. I don't care. I'm punching that weak spot. I don't care how ugly it looks. I'm gonna look at the ref and say, hey, what you gonna do? All right, bop, I'm hit him again. So
Yeah.
that's just the competitive nature that I have. I don't care, as long as it's within the parameters of competition and good spirit, then hey, I'm about it. You getting mad at what I'm doing has nothing to do with me. That's your problem.
Well, I know this. We're all former ball players,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so, I mean, we're all ultra competitive. I mean, that's just because we're older don't mean that fire don't still
Facts.
burn, right?
We gotta direct it towards somewhere, right? It's like
it gets worse the older you get. You don't have nowhere to release that shit.
right.
Be in traffic talking shit, and they're like, "Man, they can't do nothing." Out of shape.
I don't think there's anything more competitive than an old football player.
Oh yeah, man. You like to win, but like to keep it. Like to keep the sportsmanship. That's what.
Yeah.
And it seems like the longer you're in anywhere, you start seeing the ups and downs, and then getting to really know people and seeing and it's just funny to me to see grown people act like they do,
but at the end of the day, humans,
everybody makes mistakes,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I know my little short time I've been in it. I've seen a drastic change, and I don't know if it's for the good or for the better yet. But in my opinion, I still feel like ABKC is the strongest American Bully registry. And how do you feel about that? And tell us about the BRC, because I mean I know you were probably in it when, I don't know if you were still in it when Kev and them were around, but
yes,
and not we don't want to bash anybody. I've been to all the registries.
In the ABKC, you mean in the ABKC?
Yeah, was he still around then?
Yes, man. Kev threw the best shows, man, for the ABKs. Kev threw shows like I'm not gonna say as big as Jacksonville, but close to it. You know what I'm saying? Every week, Kev Green was throwing shows and represented the Midwest properly. Like the Midwest wasn't getting any love in the American Bully show world, but he made sure that he represented the area that he was from. So Kev Green definitely is a staple, man, to the show world, man. And he started as a show host. He didn't even start with really dogs, man. He started as with the business, with these dogs. So that separated him from the feelings that other people had, because us as showmen, we sensitive, man. We sensitive as hell, man. Like, we might be big, we might have muscles, we might be brolic, but we sensitive as fuck. You know what I'm saying? We gonna cry when we go to the car. You know what I'm saying? We not gonna cry in front of everybody, but we gonna punch the steering wheel and everything. We go to the car.
Got beat by that long neck motherfucking shit. Goddamn foot to the left.
Goddamn. This dog is a transformer. We just got beat by a transformer.
Man, what are they looking at? So I guess it's been the same, the whole time. You've always got, I'm gonna tell you something I would never want to be. And people have asked, a couple times. I would never want to be a judge, bro.
No.
I would never. I have not the slightest grain of salt. One, I'm not going to study enough to do it. You can ask my teachers.
That's not surprising.
But to show respect to the judges, and I get it.
I think you'll make a wonderful judge, man. I think you'll be up on everything. I think when you get that position, honestly, because this is the type of person you are, Lance. You got to the American Bullies, you dove right in, right? You felt like you had a responsibility to these dogs. I could tell just by how I met you. The first time I met you, I understood I read you off rip. You feel like you owe to this breed. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know in your life if these dogs saved your life. I don't know if these dogs what they actually helped you through a hard time. I don't know what, but I know you have a personal relationship with these dogs to where you feel like you owe the breed something. And anybody that feels like that, man, I have the open and the deepest gratitude for you, man. And I feel that if you were given that responsibility as a judge, just knowing your character, just with the American Bully, I feel like you would take that and you would be a next level judge, because you would feel now in return you owe this gratitude to these people that are going to be showing under you. So I feel like you'd be a wonderful judge, man.
Well, I appreciate that, but I'm kind of like you, man.
But.
Yeah, but it ain't happening my way. But I really want to breed, and I do, man. I do feel like, and me and Jerry talk about this a lot. Well, I say a lot. When we do talk, it's usually about dogs and breeding coefficients, and I've learned a lot from Jerry. Learned a lot from you guys. Just watching people. But to me, the dogs, we do owe the dogs something, and I feel like, man, I've had 5 litters, and I'm just not where I want to be. Like, I mean, I'm getting bits and pieces, but until we get that total dog and I can do consistent, even if it's not the most bully dog or whatever, but if I can produce litters, I'm just trying to get more consistent, man. I think consistency and is key.
Was that me?
I don't know. Somebody's bleeding through.
No. Yeah, I definitely hear you, man. The bully world hasn't changed much. It's just the people, I think, highlight I wouldn't say their weaknesses. I would just say things they know that's challenging, but they think what they have is complete right in front of their face, which is not true, man. If you look at the standard, they had to put actual pictures up because people don't get it. So they had to differentiate from words. They had terrier type head is that's not desired in writing at first. They had to actually put it up in a picture to tell this is just how absent-minded people are, that now you can put up a picture and say, look at this. This is what American, you see what this says? Terrier. They don't want that type of muzzle. They don't want that type of headpiece. The American bully is a different breed. Get away from that old type thinking. Next show you come to, I want to see you in platform and those water platform shoes, bell bottoms, butterfly collars, with your chest piece opened up all the way to the middle. You know what I'm saying? And I want to hear you say cat daddy and sucker, and I want to hear you say all of those words because it's all played out. And that's just what they're trying to tell you, that we let you get away with these terrier looking dogs for so long, to where now we're doing ourselves a disservice if we don't put our foots on the gas and tell you, look, this is not the American bully. To the point where I have dogs, that I have a dog right now where people are like, man, you should put that female in a ring. No, I am not. Why? Because she's not to the standard of the American bully. She's to y'all standard, which is not what I'm trying to put out there in the ring. No, I'm 100%. Not trying to do that.
Yeah, well, you gotta
there's
be.
just
I mean,
becoming a finer line between, what the headpiece is, and even for a classic, right? It's the margin of error has decreased dramatically.
Facts. It has decreased, and it should, because we're too far. Like, what was, like, almost 30 years? We're too far along into this breed to be accepting mid-type dogs. Like, we're if we want to be taken seriously, we have to separate ourselves from the parent dog, which every breed has done.
Do you think, Joel, do you think lack of mass is a more serious fault than like high rear or anything easty westy? I mean, do you think like if a dog has more mass but his feet are turned, should it be the dog that has more structure? I'm just asking for my personal opinion.
Shots Fired has a slight roach back.
Yeah, we got that too.
Shots Fired has a slight either easty or westy, right?
Yeah,
but he makes up for. See, this is people. There's so many factors that go into a dog winning, right? Because while you say, "Oh, Shots has a slight roach," okay, yeah, he does. But you know what that helps him on? That helps his big ass move around that ring. I bet you that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I bet you that slight roach gives him a better movement than your dog has at his size, right? Because that's what the first thing, the same thing you said, Lance, is what I heard every time, because everybody had big dogs, but it's just people didn't have those dogs that can move like that. So when they first seen Shots, they were like, yo, how is this dog this size moving? Like, I mean, it's like graceful. He's moving gracefully. And people would argue, I heard people argue, but that dog has a roach back and it beat my dog. Look at my dog, it has a straight. And I'm looking at their dog, and your dog got good structure, but your dog is more terrier looking than it is bullier looking. You know what I'm saying? That your
So
dog
you're more of a substance over. I mean, not saying that you want. I mean, I know you want both, right? I mean,
yeah,
we all everybody in the world wants a yard full of both.
facts,
Like, like radio and then French fries. I like both. I mean,
facts.
but so okay. I mean, everybody's got their opinions, and just because somebody has a different opinion than you, don't mean that you still can't learn something from that person, or they learn something from you.
Right.
It's I would like to see the community. I wish I was around during the barbecue days, bro.
Right. Hey,
Yeah.
there's another thing. So there's a lot of things that people have said that are right. Oh, Shots Fired got a roach back. Why this dog winning? A roach back is not a disqualifiable flaw to have. It's not desired, but it's not disqualifiable. But there's different factors, like I said, that goes into a dog that has flaws that wins over another dog. Let's be honest. Their judges are humans. There's some flaws that, let's put it this way, all of us have flaws that we will not tolerate. We will not have in our yard. If this dog has this flaw, I don't want this dog in my yard. I'm sorry. This dog's pet home. I don't want it. One of mine is a chest drop. One of mine is a chest drop because next to the headpiece and the shoulder set, the chest goes right along with all of that. It's all connected. So a horrible chest spread and chest drop will make your dog's shoulders look weird. It'll make your dog's crest look weird. It'll throw your whole dog off. So a chest spread and weak pasterns is like my biggest thing. Weak pasterns.
Yeah, you don't want to see a shallow chested dog.
No. Weak past.
High rears and weak pasterns for me, bro. I can make a dog look like pickled dog shit in a minute, man.
Yeah. See, I understand high rears, right? I understand why high rears come into play, and me being where I'm at, it's fixable. That's a fixable a flaw to me. Like, because it's at one point in time, if you went to shows, you know what I'm about to say, right? You know what I'm about to say?
I know it's about to be something.
You would go into the ring, right? And you would see dogs. It looks like a playground, man. It did some of these shows, right? It'll look like a playground, like your kid. You should have brought your kid to these shows, because all of these slide back dogs, these high rears, they could have had fun at these shows. But some of these dogs was winning because that's what the judges was judging from. And you'd look in the ring and be like, shit, I'd take this dog over that dog because that dog's high rear isn't that prominent. It just was something that it was accepted in the XL standard at one point in time. You know what I'm saying?
Well, as a development, as a development thing, right? And most good judges, right? They don't flaw judge, right? They're looking for bully. Now, when it comes to maybe the top 3 dogs and they're trying to weed them out, then they start looking at the flaws. But it's it's an overall picture. Does that dog represent that bully? Are they bully, right? And so then later they start looking at flaws. And so if you got a little bit of a roach back, or if you got a little bit of this, then I mean it's not really going to hurt you that much until it really gets to the very final end of things, right?
And a lot of bully people don't understand about the roach, right? It's frowned upon which I understand people want to, nice flat top line, but a dog, there's dogs, American bullies with flat top lines that can't move, period. That
Right.
can't move at all, right?
Yeah.
But if you look at some of these dogs with a roach or a slight roach, them dogs can move. Them dogs
It
can get
allows for
somewhere.
more elevation of the knee.
Facts, right?
Right.
Even though it's not it's not a desired flaw, it actually has its benefits over other flaws. That's what I'm not trying to praise the flaw, but I'm trying to highlight that while Easty Westy in the long run can cripple your dog, or it's not desirable, or a shallow chest or straight stifles, it's not as serious as those flaws are. It's actually sought after in some breeds of dogs, like the pit bull terrier had. Most terrier dogs have a roach back, and these dogs are dogs that can move. They're meant to move and go get something.
Jerry, are there any questions coming in or anything?
Yeah, I'm kind of looking. I mean, there's.
Well,
I
got one. I got one.
There's a lot more people watching.
I got one.
A lot more people watching that shows up here. We got. Let's see. David Britton says there needs to be a point system, 0 to 100 in the standard. That so many points are assigned to each aspect of the dog, but shows the importance of each. But leave a section for style, so judges have some say in the preference on certain features.
I agree. I believe there needs to be a visual checklist like how they have, and I believe they do have it at every show. These judges do, but I think they need. When you're driving, I was gonna say DJing, but when you're driving, at some point, everything is just, you lose time. You just you drift off. That's why they tell you to look in the rear view mirror. That's why they tell you to look into your side mirrors, because you could zone out,
Right.
And I think judges have that same thing that goes on, because they're in the ring with so many dogs, and it's just so repetitive, week after week after week after week. I just think there needs to be something added to refresh and keep these judges on their toes, or because it becomes work at a point, and we understand there's
shit,
people,
that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? You signed up for that.
But what I was going to get into is that there's some people that actually love their job, that go to their job, they love their job, they love what they do, they've been working there for 20 years, 15 years, they know the ugly, but they still love their job, right? Because they love the profession, they love what they do. But then there's people that's just in it just to make money, or that's just in it just to be seen, and these people aren't going to be look at this job like this other guy that looks at this job as prestigious. They're just gonna go in, they're just gonna put their hours in, and they're not gonna go above and beyond and help this guy out, help that guy out, stay late and do this. They're not gonna do that because they don't have the love for it. And this is the same thing with judges. I'm not pointing out just any registry. I'm just saying, just period. This is human nature. People can fake it and tell you, yeah, man, I have a passion for this, but then slack off on their first day. They're slackers. They're just trying to get their foot in the door. So they're going to run game on you the best way possible. So they're going to say everything that sounds good.
Yeah. I got one question, bro.
Go ahead.
And I've been wanting to ask you, and you're a great person to ask. I've always thought this, and I've talked to judges about this, and I'm not going to say any names or anything. We're not bashing anybody, right? This is just a question that I would love to ask you and love to hear your opinion.
Sure.
Should judges, since and especially now, keep this in mind. There's however many registries now, 20 of them, son of a bitch.
Right.
So say Jerry's a BRC judge, you're a ABKC judge. And this is I'll tell you how I feel first. Should judges show in the same registry they judge in? I feel like I feel like if you judge ABKC, you shouldn't show ABKC. I feel like if you judge BRC, you shouldn't show BRC. And I know this like, oh, well, that's our competitor. But at the end of the day, is it really, or is it really all about the dogs? Because if it's all about the dogs, you're going to go to that other registry and get in. I don't know, man. I've just seen it too much, man. It's a bad look. I feel like for the brand, it's a bad look because not every now and then somebody says something. Every time, and I've been standing outside anytime these ABKC judges, and this is BRC, UKC. I mean, all this. As soon as a judge wins, the first thing you hear, and it don't matter if they walked in that son of a bitch with Zeus bred to blue on top of Hove, on top of the bus, best dog you ever seen, they still gonna say, oh, the only reason they won was because of that. You know, in my opinion, so the feedback I've gotten is, oh, well, we love our registry and we feel like we'd be cheating on our registry or whatever. So I don't know. I just want to know your opinion about that because I don't know if you've ever even thought about that.
Judges are breeders.
Yep.
Right? So now you're telling a breeder
not to show their dog.
Not to show their stock that they're proud of. Right? I understand where you're coming from, but and I understand that's a job they took, right? I take honor in spanking every judge that I showed under. Any judge that got in the ring with me, I spanked them. And I made sure I was on top of my game. You know why? Because there's a judge in this ring and I want to spank them just so I can have that. And I've been to a few funerals of judges after that showed with me. There's been funerals and I've got a lot of them. And it's cool because there's no judges gotten past me at all. So I feel, and this is, I'm not talking about with shots. I'm talking about with Siren the Temptress. When I was showing best female, I'm talking about when it was competitive. You know, when these judges didn't have title dogs, they had dogs that they was trying to champ out, you know, themselves, and they couldn't get around us. And I took pride in that. I took pride in that competitive spirit. Like, okay, yeah, this judge thinks this is his best stock, and he thinks he's gonna beat me. That's just how I felt. That's just my feeling. I understand where you're coming from, like I said. And at one point, I felt judges need to have their own class. Like judges need to have their.
I would be cool, bro. I would be cool with that. I've never even thought about that. But But by me saying that, that's still not saying you can't show your dog. You know what I'm saying? You can show your dog other registries, or you can have somebody show your dog.
It'll be the same thing. It'll be the same thing. That dog won.
You right about that?
That dog won because that's a judge's dog, and they know it. Yeah. All of the judges know that dog. That judge did that breeding. There's message groups for the judges. You don't think they're posting their puppies in there and their breedings that they're doing in there? They're breeders. They're breeders. They want to share with some. They talk probably the most on those because they can't do it publicly. So they do it in a private chat, and they have their own chat. They're proud of what they're proud of the breedings that they're doing. They're proud of this breed. They wouldn't be flying and taking time away from their family if they didn't have pride. And
I never said that.
These dogs. No. I'm not saying you said that. And I'm just saying to form a picture of a broader thinking. You know,
I guess.
People to see these people are humans at the same time, man. I go hard on judges. I'm not gonna lie to you.
What it boils down to is the individual integrity of each judge when they're in the ring.
That's facts. If the person judging picks a dog that's horrible, and you know, I haven't seen it. I've heard of it, but see, this is the thing. What people say at shows, and it's usually not first hand, it's usually second, third hand. And you know that thing. If you tell somebody from the beginning of this line, and by the time it gets to the 20th person, it's a totally different story that you told the first person. So that's what is going on. People just need to understand it. Just because it's the dog world, you don't have to take this person. You could just wait and think about, you know, all right, is this person actually, was you there at the show? No, but I heard I automatically exclude you from what the hell's going on, and I start doing my research on what really happened versus what you're telling me. And
Well,
there's a
I mean,
lot of that goes on.
I've gotten different feedback. I've gotten like some judges have told me, "Shit, I'd quit being a judge today if that was the case."
Right.
And I've had judges, say, and it's more the older judge, like the judges. I guess what I was trying
Has a
to
judge
say
ever
is,
beat you? Has a judge ever beat you in the ring?
oh yeah, for sure.
He said, yeah.
For sure. Goddamn, Joel, you running around with a standard. I'm over here with a goddamn classic. Yeah, I've eaten crow many a day. Man. But I get what you're saying. When I've been in the ring with them, I've beat my share of them too. Don't get me
Right.
wrong. I believe me.
How does it feel? How does it feel though? How does it feel? Be honest. How does it feel knowing that there's a seasoned judge in their ring, knowing that
it's different.
It's different.
It's way different. I mean,
it's way different.
But I would say it's no different than beating somebody like you, somebody like Tone, somebody like Marco, somebody like Hannah. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but that's the spirit of competition. Like everybody, you can understand this. Everybody is not gonna be it's not gonna be Georgia versus Alabama. And sometimes it's gonna be Alabama Southern versus Georgia. You know what I'm saying? And some players are not gonna get up for that. You know what I'm saying? Some players, they just gonna be like, oh man, this is an automatic W. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, I know.
But when they get smacked upside their heads because they go into that ring thinking it's an automatic W, that's why I never done it. It hits different. That loss hits different because the person that Alabama Southern, that's their Super Bowl. They're never gonna be multi-best in show winners. They're never gonna be multi-best in breed winners with the same dog that beat you that day. You was just off that day, right? But it happens, man. And this is the highlight of these people's a show career, that they beat a shot. There's people that walk up to me. There's people that walk up to me, man. I don't know who these people are. I don't know the dog that they're talking about. Yo, man, I remember in 2019, I got you at shots. I beat you at shots fired in the champion class. I'm not like, champion class. I don't even remember the champion class. You know what I'm saying? We don't remember. I'm not trying to be cocky. I'm just saying, like, I give it to these people. I don't tell them, oh, I don't remember the champion class. I tell them, man, that's what's up, man. Congrats, man. I had to be, because I know I don't know this person. I know I don't know these people's dogs. If their dogs was prominent, I would know who these people are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it happens where these people, and that's what some of these people keep these people coming, is because they did beat that shot fired in 2019, and they're trying to cook up something again to be that what is the there's some of these characters in wrestling or football are the champion stealers, or somebody that steals the shine away from the people that have the shine. There's actual people who are breeding to beat you, and they don't care if it's just one best in show, one best in breed, or champion win, grand champion, but they're just trying to beat you. They don't care who it is, or they just trying to get it because they don't know. They know they don't have it like that, but they just trying to be the upset kid.
I always felt like that playing an offensive line. You'd block a motherfucking DN all night, pancake after pancake. He ain't got a tackle. You let that bitch slip by and get one sack, he gonna act like he whooped your ass all night long. Boy.
Or that sack could actually, you could be busting his ass all night, and that one play is a sack strip fumble to steal the game for the other team. And nobody's gonna look at the tape and say Lance was dominant all 99%
of the time, right?
Lance let the game-winning sack through.
That's all they're gonna know you for. You're gonna get crucified for it. See, but once we understand the world that we're living in, and we add all of these elements into everything that we do: work, dog world, home, once we understand there's politics and everything, I'm talking about, I tell this to everybody when they say, oh, there's politics in the ABKC. I know they living in a fantasy world, because you got the favorite son, you got a favorite niece, you got a favorite nephew, your mom has a favorite son, your grandmother has a favorite grandbaby, like, and you know that, that's grandmama, if I'm your favorite grandson, yes, baby. And she gonna let that favorite grandson know you my favorite grandbaby. And how does that feel to the younger or older grandson that's a sibling? That's competition. Now you're gonna try to tap dance and Gregory Hines and do the best things, try to make grandmama laugh, help her out the car, everything you can do to try to get in grandmama's good graces so she can look at you in the same light as she looks at your brother. And once we understand it's the same thing in the real world, it's the same thing in the dog world, that some of these judges just have favorite dogs, man. They have these dogs that they comparing. Now your dog in their head, your dog is competing against this dog. It's in their head because they know this dog is the baddest dog on the block. So now any dog that shows up in the ring, you're competing against this dog. And that's how it should be.
100%. I agree. I agree with. I think judges should have a preference, because if not, if you make everybody, like you say, you go to that little point thing, well, you're going to have the same dog win every show. Which I'm not saying, if the best dog, the best dog in the building should win. I don't give a shit if it had never won or whatever. If he came that day and he did his thing, if that dog's from little Jimmy down in somewhere in Nebraska that don't nobody know about, give little Jimmy the damn trophy and let him go back home with it. I'm more saying, I don't know, man. I just, I'm not screaming politics at all, because I'm with you. I'm a realist in life. We grew up, we learned, we learned work and real men conversations real early. But, I don't know. It's just a question I wanted to ask you about. Should you think, what you thought about the judges showing, in the registry. So,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry about that. Go ahead.
I got a question from Twan Brinson wants to know, as a newbie, is there classes to learn the history of the breed, like getting the knowledge of the grand champion dog winners? And is it important to attend dog shows?
It is very important to attend dog shows. That's the most important thing. That is the number. If you're for in a show world, right? That's my platform is not just for the overall dog world. My platform is for the show world. It just happens to work for overall, when people with just dogs, just as this platform is. I think shows are the most important thing that you can do if you're getting into show dogs or having a show quality dog, is for the simple fact is you're going to see what the creme de la creme is for best in show, best in breed. You're going to see those top dogs as an example, a living example. Will they be the best dogs? No, they might not be, but they will give you a good example of what these dogs are, as far as just looking at a picture of a dog just standing still. You can ask questions to people, actual judges. What are you looking for with this? You can understand the even plane of the feet the dog's walking on, whereas you can learn about close tracking, how that's not desirable. You can learn about so many things just by being at a dog show, things that you would not hear just by looking at a video of somebody bragging about how nice their dog is on social media. So yes, a dog show is probably the most important that you can do. A mentor.
That's something we preach on this podcast too. That damn near everybody that's been on here had that questions come up, and we preach that too. So
right, that and then
the other part of the question though, and it really is a good one, is there used to be Atomic Dog magazine. There used to be other things, but where does a new person really go to learn and understand the history of the breed in one place? Now, I know that either Matt Siebenthal has done a book or is working on a book about the history of the American Bully.
I think Bully the Kid is as well too.
Okay.
I think he's putting something together.
Right, for a new person, where do you go to learn about the breed?
I go ahead, Joel, but I got a piece of advice, but you go ahead, Joel.
a mentor, man, a mentors, not just. I wouldn't say
Mentors.
there's no book that can. There's no book that can teach you about the American bully better than a group of mentors can teach you that are successful in the American bully game. Not just people that are in it that breed two dogs together, but people that
or at least people that go to shows all the time, right? Like
I
not
wouldn't
just
even
somebody
say
that sits on the internet and says, "Oh, look at my dogs." Like, don't let that be your mentor. Like, get your mentor from the show, bro. Like, you
I
know
wouldn't
what I'm
even I wouldn't even say that, because I've gotten a lot of bad advice from people that, especially that
You
are
can't listen to
showcasing.
everybody.
No, you can't. That's why you have to listen to everybody. You have to listen. See, that's the thing. You have
We
to
got
listen
different
to
definitions.
everybody. You have to listen. That's what I'm saying. Listening is just hearing, even if it's bad advice, you have to listen to it, because then you know not to go that way. If you haven't heard that advice, you'd never know. If you never listened to that advice before, you'd never know not to go down that route. So yeah, I listen to everything. Now,
Well,
act on that advice. Go ahead.
By me saying listening is by acting on what they say. Yes,
Fact.
I mean obviously if you ask somebody a question, they're gonna say something back to you like, "Hey, what's your name? My name's so and so." You know, yes, you're gonna listen and get that. But when I say don't listen to everybody, I guess I should have said don't take everybody's advice.
Hey,
You know,
Lance, be honest. Be honest. How many times your wife told you to do something? You married?
no.
How many? Your girl? You got any girl? You got a girl? A
Yeah,
girlfriend?
he got one.
Yeah, she gonna
How
hang.
many?
I hope she hangs around.
How many times has she told you to do something, right? And you're like, oh, you heard her. But next thing you know, it's hours or maybe days that went by, maybe weeks. And she,
Call of Duty, baby. Call of Duty.
you see what I'm saying? So, it happens, man. It's just that's just life, man. That's just life.
To me, I agree with the getting multiple people the as far as mentors. And I'm gonna tell you what, and having a group of people that you can bounce things off of. I mean, shit, since me and Jerry have been talking and stuff, I can't tell you. I bet I've bounced almost every breeding or every decision I made between him and John, and man, it's helped me a lot. I mean, me and Jerry just did a COI the other day and changed up really just went from oh no, this right here is gonna work better. Yeah, I recommend go to shows and try to learn. We try to tell people go to shows and try to watch, and if you can go without a dog, but if you got a dog, you can read a book on how to make love, but you do it a couple times, you're gonna figure some things out that book ain't gonna tell you about.
You're gonna figure that you're gonna figure if you in it or you not in it. You're gonna figure what your weaknesses are, how to strengthen them. You're gonna figure out all. You're right. If you get into something, that's everything in life. That's everything in life. You need to figure it out. You need to figure it out. Man, even breathing, coming out of your mom's stomach. You have to. It's always a learning moment. If you don't breathe, guess what's gonna happen? That baby's finna die. You finna die. You finna go out of here just as fast you came in here. You finna be out, and that's just the truth. It's just the cruel truth of it. And I feel like when we embrace that, even the ugliness of things, and we can see beauty in it, then I think life will be better, because I feel like while there is death, there's beauty in it as well, because while that person isn't here anymore, that what made that person who they are has moved on. That is, I believe differently. I'm sorry, I believe differently in that type of stuff. So I just believe that we are trapped and here, right? And there's bigger things outside of Earth, outside of this universe. We know it. We can see it online that there's bigger things beyond us. But our spirit within us belongs to that energy. So that's what I'm saying. I look at even death in a beautiful way that other people don't look at. And I have a realistic view on things. I can look at my dogs and say, hell no, I ain't putting that dog in the show ring, because that dog
to the no.
Look at that. I make fun of my own dog. I'll make fun of I'll pick on my own dog, man.
any good dog man's going to know whether or not that he
Look,
needs to
so
put that
you
dog
know,
in the ring
I
or
can
not.
stack him out. I can stack him out of that high rear shit. I gotta walk that son bitch to the ring. I can't walk him stacked. God damn.
Hey man, let me put this water hose on your dog's back before you let me. I'm saying wheelbarrow. Let me. You know what I'm saying? Nah, but I think that if you go to shows, right? This is why I don't. I listen to everybody, but I laugh a lot of times because there's a lot of people that will give you the same advice of how an American bully should look, but will walk into the ring with a dog that is flawed up. That dog that is flawed up worse than, and it's confusing. And there's handlers that I don't think this is talked about at all. There's handlers who actually take money. This is robbery. I think there's handlers that actually take money from people that don't know that their dog is flawed up, but they're happy to have their dog in this show ring, and that they're entry level breeders, and they're just happy to have these handlers, pro handlers, we call these people professional handlers, will take the lead from these dogs, and they will walk these flawed up dogs into the ring and take the money from these people, and then we'll give them a slight excuse on why they dog didn't win. You know, but I think we can get them in show 2. I think we can get them in show 3. We can
Need
get them
that gas money,
oh,
baby.
these judges don't know what they're talking about. You know how many times I've seen that, and I've walked
Bro.
up to these people and be like, "Man, your dog, I think you might need to start over, man. You need to," and that's why a lot of people don't like me, man, because I'm brutally honest with people, man. You know,
So
and
you gotta be.
and I try to do it with respect and honor at the same time. You know, I'm not trying to, man, your dog is bugged up. You know, I'm not trying to do that.
You know, you touch on that topic, Joel. I've been tossing around whether or not maybe taking a couple of outside dogs to train for people, you know. And
Excuse me?
I said I've been tinkering with the idea of maybe taking a dog or two, you know, from outside, you know, to train for shows and things like that. And one of the things that I've always thought about is when that person brings that dog to me for evaluation, I'm going to give them an honest evaluation about whether that dog belongs in the ring or whether it don't, regardless of whether or not I might get that money or not. I'm not going to train somebody's dog that has no hope.
I've
Right?
turned down the last 3, bro, that came my way, and I quit advertising that I train or anything because, bro, the shit that was coming at me, I was like, damn. And I would tell these people, look, bro, you got a high rear. She's easty westy. Hey, man, I seen what you did. Just do what you did. And I was like them other people. I took the money, bro. I quit, bro. I don't even, man. Your dog, if it ain't top 10 quality, bro. And dude got mad at me, unblocked me and everything, bro. Come down, and I said, look, you got a nice dog, but he ain't it, my boy. And he went to a couple shows, had a little success. He's a nice dog, but I just, you know, like you said, man, you've been up towards the top, bro. It's just you really don't want to go out there half stepping, man.
Then
There's
you have
nobody.
the flip side of thing. You have the flip side of thing too, though, guys, and just keep this in mind. You have new people coming in; they don't have the confidence. They want to put their dog out there, and so you know, handlers sometimes can be in a difficult position about, you know, look,
Nope,
you know,
nope, nope,
no,
no.
I'm playing devil's advocate here, Joel.
Hell no, nah, you can't play devil's
Right?
advocate for that one.
Right?
This is a
Huh?
hell no. Don't take that lead, man. This platform is to push the breed forward. This platform is not to play devil's advocate on some bullshit that you know you're not supposed to take that. You're not supposed to take that lead from you're not supposed to take the thousands of dollars that this handler, this breeder is given to you for this flawed up dog. You know how many dog. Listen, I've looked at people so differently in this game, man, because I hear them, man, this flawed up ass dog, but they're getting $2,000, $3,000 a month for housing this dog, for training this dog, for feeding this dog. And there's robbery, and it is robbery, and it is not fair. It is not fair because they got the name. And a lot of people talk about these judges, a lot of people talk about these dog breeders, but nobody. This is the first time on your platform, BWO, right now. This is the first time that somebody is actually talking about a handler that is a professional that will take a dog. This is robbery, people.
Yeah.
This is robbery that they're committing.
It's false hope. It's false hope, right? I mean,
Well, if you don't like what one handler says, at least go get an opinion from another handler. You know what I mean?
That handler might rob you. Now you really need to be on your swivel, because if this
my
handler
thing.
told you, I'm not touching your dog because, listen, that dog's messed up, that dog's not going to win, then you take your dog to another handler, man, I can do works with these dogs. Man, now, see, most breeders are going to be looking at this other dude like, man, this dude said my dog couldn't win. When actuality, they should be like, man, is this dude bullshitting me, or hold up?
Or is he trying to save me some money?
Facts. Are you trying to... Yes, sir.
Let's transition to that a little bit. Eddie
Let's
Davis, how do you feel about breeders selling flawed up dogs to newcomers, as top of the line dogs just for $1?
That is wrong.
Right.
A real breeder, you're not gonna get a top of the line dog from a real breeder. That's number one. Because they're keeping their top of the line dogs, or they're co-owning their top of the line dogs out. So let's be realistic when we're talking about purchasing a dog from a breeder. Okay, when you're purchasing a dog from the breeder, you are getting leftovers. Now, are you getting quality leftovers or not is the question. Now, you should be looking for more quality dogs over not. You should be looking at the whole litter, what the whole litter looks like. If just one or two dogs have these correction of the standard that the breed is looking for, or is it basically the whole litter because you can look at a whole litter and say, all right, these are the best. This is the best dog, but the rest of the dogs carry the trait that the best dog has, though. It carries these same bone. It has the conformation, but it just something about this dog. It makes it. It's the has that it factor, and all of the dogs, it's not going to be like that. Now,
picking a dog,
you might catch a breeder slipping that don't know what they're doing, and you might get that dog that is the dog of that whole litter. That
well, obviously you two did.
What's that?
Assholes.
I wouldn't say that because my dog never finished.
John Wayne and Shots Fired, assholes.
Shots Fired, brother finished at number 2.
You got great dogs for breeders.
But here's the thing. We could have easily not. We could have easily not. You're picking a dog at 8 weeks old, and if you're letting that feller tell you that that's the next grand champion or the next number one dog in the world, you ought to be slapped in the back of the head for believing that. You're rolling the dice at 8 weeks. Yes, you can make educated guess, but in my experience, in my few litters that I've had, I tell people straight up, hey, man, is he going to be like so-and-so? I can't tell you what he's going to be. What I can guarantee you is health. If we can't work nothing out, if didn't nobody give me no money back guarantee on no puppy I bought at 8 weeks old,
Well, here's the truth of it, right? You got a breeder, they go through and they make their picks. Now, you have some breeders that are really good at picking puppies, and you have others who may not be as good. And so then even, you come in as a buyer, you may still get lucky, but the truth of it is, we never really know how puppies are going to develop. Now we have, 8 weeks plus or minus 3 days is a good time to pick, but you still never really know how they're going to develop. I got a female that was, there were 2 females left, right? And I picked the best one of the 2, and she ended up champing out before she was a year old. So I promise you, I wasn't as adept at evaluating an American bully then as I am now, because I was still pretty new, right? So I got fortunate, but those things can happen because we still never really know how a puppy is going to grow, what that puppy is going to grow into. We have a pretty good idea, but I picked a puppy one time. He was the best structured, the biggest dog of the litter, the lineage and everything. And guess what? I held him for 2 years. He didn't work out.
Champion out, grand champion out shouldn't be like, okay, that's what, okay, I picked the puppy at champed out. Okay, I did good. Man, we need something. I don't know, man. I just feel different about things. Like, to me, a bunch of champions, grand champions, that don't mean shit to me, to be honest with you.
Lance, you came into the game at the right time. You came into the game with that frame of mind was beginning to be a lost thought, right? And now where you came into the era where it mattered, right? Like that, and you went into we all exited that era and went into the era of the dog, not the American bully, the dog. And that the dog was the top dogs, or the dogs that were that were highly commercialized or publicized. People who took really good pro shots of nice dogs with really good features. That started being what people wanted to breed to over dogs and pitchers were was what people want to breed to now. This is the new era that we've been ushered into. Dogs that are on tables, that are table stack dogs, or that are close. You could tell it's even influenced the pocket world in the ABKC, BRC, BB. But see, I can't even say that about the BBRC or the BRC or the ICBR, because they allow exotics in their registry, which is awesome, which is cool as hell, because they're giving the exotics a platform to clean up, to get better, which I think is very important. There's people that just want to give these dogs the boot, but I think they need a platform in order to become better, and they need a standard in order to become better, and that's what they have in those registries.
Well, Kev posted up a picture of, remember, the first exotic winner of whatever their nationals, and then the one that won last year. And there's a big damn change. So
Yes.
I'm not going to ever have one. You know what I'm saying?
But you can have respect from it. You can have respect
100%. But I like for them to be, if you're going to do it, at least get right, instead of going. They just kept going backwards and backwards for a while.
There's some musicians, like, I don't listen to Taylor Swift. I don't like all of her music. I if some of her music plays on the radio, there's a the chance I might turn it. But there's some songs. No, but there's some songs that she has that I can vibe with. You know what I'm saying? And I have the ultimate respect for her career and what she's done for music, even though I don't listen to her. I don't listen to that type of, her type of music. I can have an ultimate respect for what she's done for the genre, and that's what people are missing a lot, is that they don't have to be to love that dog or love that breed, but they can say, oh, okay, I can respect where that dog is come. Now, there's them one dogs like that was in Deadpool and Wolverine. Them dogs was real. The dogs that hardly have, look like it got mange, and it got one big eye and one small eye. Looking, the tongue hangs out. Them ugly dogs. Now, I don't know why.
Oh, yeah, the little bitty motherfucker.
Oh my God! Like, now, come on,
that's
now.
That's a good movie.
So, like, there's dogs that's actually alive that's like that I don't understand at all. So
that's right.
But I still have respect for it, because there's a market for those dogs. People like those dogs, and I can respect it. But I won't have one in my home, no.
Yeah, you ain't gonna feed it.
Nah, but I do respect the exotic world. They came leaps and bounds further than the American bully world, if you ask me. They didn't have anything written for them to get better. They had the American bully to look at to get better, to see what they needed to do to be more functional and stuff like that. That's what they did, and they actually surpassed as far as like correcting what was wrong. If you look at it, we're still stuck in a matrix. If you know what I'm saying, when we have something actually written in concrete, and so people don't look at it that way, that you need to pay homage to first off, these registries that had the frame of mind to say, we're going to accept you with open arms, but we're going to make this better. We're not going to accept this bullshit that you have right there. And
Well,
for
Joel,
like-minded people to say, yeah, okay, you're right.
we have a written standard because, on your podcast before, we've gone through it detail by detail by detail, right?
Mhm.
And it simply boils down to is that we just flat don't have enough disciplined breeders in the breed.
Microwave era. That's what we're in.
Yeah.
We're this microwave breeders. Microwave breeders. Oh, I just purchased this 2 times, 3. It don't matter, bro, because real breeders, and you're gonna understand after breeding, what are you gonna do after you breed that dog? Y'all put it together with this is where skill takes hold of everything. This is where you're not riding off of this is why people got to understand when you purchasing a dog, you have to have a plan. You can't say, oh, we made this mistake and we're teaching y'all not to make these same mistakes. Don't run into a breed and look at a certain dog. Oh, I want a dog just like that. No, I want a dog better than that. I want to make a dog that's better than that. Look at that dog's flaws. Look at what that dog's flaw is. Even though you're enamored by that dog, you think that dog is the most prettiest dog ever. Look at that dog's flaws and let that seem ugly to you. And that's what you need to fix. So when you fix it, that breeder is going to look at you and say, damn, because you're not going to fix it in just one breeding. You're going to do it in a certain amount of breedings that you do if you do it correctly. And like you said, if you stay disciplined to it, because you get these hype dogs, these microwave dogs, man. People think that they could just I've seen, what's sad, man? I've seen a lot of seasoned breeders work towards a line that will destroy that whole line just to breed one of the top bitches to this line bred, or not even line bred, which a lot of the matter is a lot of these hype dogs are not line bred.
No, they're not.
They're scattered bred dogs.
They're outcrosses.
Their outcross is going to be, but I'm saying their pedigree is scattered bred. A lot of these dogs, you just got that one of those breedings right there where the vigor just took over from, and now, it's bound to happen. It happens more when you do outcross breedings or you do scattered bred breedings. You'll find 1 or 2 dogs out of a litter that is exceptionally better than all of the other dogs because you're adding that vigor to a whole nother line. So it's a deception. It's a trick. It's actually a trick that breeders.
Well, there's just less of there's less of an effort to breed to the best dog, and as opposed to just breeding to named dogs. And there are a lot of great dogs out there that may not be well known, but they're well structured. They've got the size, they've got the balance, they've got the movement, they've got everything right, and it's like, and they're being underutilized.
That's a fact.
People have to be brave enough, confident enough, right, to breed to those dogs and say, you know what, I can make a name for that dog on my own. Or, the reason why dogs become popular, famous, whatever you want to call it, is because they are superior. In a lot of cases, now granted, a lot of cases it's somebody the person who owns them, but a lot of times it's because they are superior dogs. So just breed a superior dog regardless of the name.
Facts. That's
right.
But see, what people don't understand and where they're lazy, there's a lot of superior dogs in the same line that the dog you have to break outside of breeding to that hype dog to break that line. But what I wanted to get into real quick is I've been looking at other seasoned breeders of other breeds, and I've been looking at a lot of Amstaff breeders and a lot of Rottweiler breeders. I'm talking about these people that are vets, they're veteran breeders and they have their podcasts. And something that I learned from both podcast about outcross breedings and why they are not as good as people think they are, right? It's good when you have it's good when you understand it. It's good when you need to break it up. It's good when you need to break it up, right? But do you really? Because the mother and father from every breeding does not match. You can go to the mother side of that pedigree and breed to just as a nice dog as this hype dog of the breeding. There's just people don't want to do their research and go look at those lines and add things up that's in the back, or not even the back, that's just on mom's side or deeper in dad's side, that have really good structure, that has the mass that you need. But why? These people aren't out there like that. These people dogs aren't being utilized, just as you said, you know. But I don't look at it, I'm gonna make this dog. I look at every dog as a tool. I look at every dog as a tool to get the best dog that I can. We have no when people start to understand we have no greatest American bully that lived. There isn't. It hasn't been bred yet. It hasn't been produced yet. The best American bully that ever lived has not been produced yet. If that makes sense. Like all
Yes.
of the dogs that's won nationals, these dogs aren't even the tip of the iceberg of what the like you said, what the exotic looked like in nationals here and what the exotic looks like now for Kev, what he puts up. It's going to be the same contrast when you look at 20 years from now, what the top American bully looks like from the top American bully today.
You think it's heading in the right direction?
I do believe it's headed in the right direction. It's just, it's people, it's us as humans. We are complainers. We complain about everything. When it's not comfortable, we're going to complain, man, instead of adapting to it and just going head on. If you want to breed classics, breed the best classics and breed the best classics that you can. Be proud of that. Be proud. Go to shows. Go to nationals. Be proud to have the top classic and to be proud of what you do. You know what I'm saying? If you want the best standard, breed towards it. You can do it. It's a lot of people. I'm about to have one of the top breeders that's not really known in the game, and his name is Bobo Starsky. People don't understand that what this man has done with this man, his breeding tactics, what he's done, and what I've learned just in recent time, just talking to him, and not just in recent time, but just his posts and in the past of what he used to say. He said he's been preaching the same thing for years, and he's done it. He's took blood that people don't even know about and produce the same type of dogs like Rocco Blood and like Brim. He got the same type of dogs like that. And he's gonna be on the podcast on Friday, and he's gonna let these gems out on how he's doing that and how he's looking at the American bully world, because I believe people like this need to be on social media, and the OGs that are doing it correctly need to be given their roses and they need their platform because we need them now. We need these people now. We never thought in 2017, 18, 19, 20, we thought, man, we was kicking these dudes to the curb, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. We thought they was haters. But once we got seasoned and understood and had our first breedings and second and third, fourth breedings, we start to understand what they was talking about was not hating at all. We start to understand, damn, this is like Pops teaching us, man. I told him, I was talking to him, I said, yo, man, you ain't my dad or nothing like that, but it's like the same thing as when your dad is teaching you stuff and you don't listen, but until you become a grown-ass man or grown-ass woman, your mom teaching you, whoever is in your life, once you start to understand those lessons, you had to go through something. You had to be seasoned. You was bland chicken at the cookout. You know what I'm saying? You was that chicken that was left over that the flies wouldn't even land on at the cookout. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're talking about you're talking about Bobo, and one of the things I was listening to, matter of fact, it was it was a podcast yesterday, and they made a very good point. And then you mentioned earlier, about microwave, right? Very few people these days, right, are really working on developing a line, right? Really developing a breeding program. They're just trying to throw dogs together, right, to get a name, to get popular, to get the money. But they're really not, unlike a guy like Bobo, right, who really has put in the work, who's developed a line, who's really serious about breeding. There's very few of those people anymore today, where 10 years ago or 15 years ago, they were much more prominent.
Bobo, I don't want to give too much, but
Yeah, because you got to come out Friday.
yeah, he's the type of breeder that easily could have had the most champions and grand champions in ABKC history that he's actually produced. You know what I'm saying? That he's given to pet homes or given to people versus traveling and doing all of this stuff, man, because that's not what he's into. He just loves the breed, and I think he finds a pleasure in not using these dogs that people think made the breed and made dogs just as comparable and just as better when you look at these dogs, just by understanding what the pedigree was, understanding the root of the pedigree, understanding why what side of this dog made this dog turn out like this, and understood that just by researching the breeding and understanding the what was done.
Well, what I wanted you to comment on, Joel, was the fact that very few people these days are putting in the time and the effort to develop lines versus just throwing dogs together, right?
No, man, if you're not trying to create a line, you a hot dog jockey. If you're not trying to create a line,
that's good.
You need to stop doing this, right? You need to stop doing this. You need to stop looking at your favorite dog, and you need to stop looking at that dog and trying to breed towards that dog. You need to stop that. You need to go towards the standard. And once you start to understand the standard, you can break that dog down and understand its flaws and start to breed better than that dog. If you do not understand that, if you don't throw away that dog for a little bit to understand what the actual standard wants, you will not just understand the standard by reading it, by looking at this podcast, by looking at my podcast. There's other podcasts that you can look at. There's a lot of podcasts that you can look at that actually talk about this actual topic. There's posts that you can actually look at, that you can message these same people. You can message these judges are open to conversations. You need to reach out. If you don't understand what's going on, it's on you. It's your fault. It's not anybody else's fault but yours. You have to understand how to breed. You have to understand how to cook these dogs up. It can be done. We about to have a gentleman. I don't mean to hype my shit up, but like I said,
that's what it's about. We want you to talk about your podcast and your food, bro.
Bobo Starsky is the type of person that I think this is going to be the best interview that I've had to date. And I've had Dave Wilson on. I've had a lot of people on the podcast, man, but I think this is going to be the best one. And there's going to be people that sleep on it, and which is cool. But I believe there's going to be more people that his message gets out to this way versus the way he's doing it now on social media, where there's people that listening to him, but the people that's listening to him are like-minded people. They're not people, like I said, we live in a microwave era where there's people that have to actually, I want to look at this podcast. It's podcasters, man. This is a thing. There's people that don't want to read. They go with Audible. They get Audible. They don't want to read a book now. They get Audible. The book reads themselves to them. You know what I'm saying? and they don't have to actually read a book physically anymore. So that's why we have podcasts like this. That's why there's actual people that can't read. There's people that are illiterate. There's people that can't understand. I can't listen, I can read. I'm very literate. I can understand instructions, but I learn better visually. I'll go on
Yeah, some
YouTube.
people comprehend better by listening than they do reading.
Right. And that's just what is the era that we in, is just somehow the thought process on how people, go with.
So let me throw this out there right quick, just so people know. Joel was one of the first people. I don't know, what was it, 1.5 years, 2 years ago?
Yes,
you had me on. We talked over 2 hours about inbreeding coefficients and how they're important in program and things like that. And
thank you. I learned a lot from it. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I always watch your podcast. Joel has had some of the best conversations, some of the best people on a regular basis. So over the last at least couple of years that I know of, if you really want to learn, like I said, that one night we went over the standard line by line by line, and we talked about it. If people really want to learn, and that's the great thing about YouTube is it's there, it's history. You can always go back. I watched a lot of podcasts from Ty Lumley and Jamie Sweet, who developed Shorty Bull, right? They talked about, and that was like 7 years ago. I consume everything pretty much that's out there. You've had some of the best podcasts the last couple of years with,
I appreciate it.
I've listened to, you've had so many people, so many different viewpoints and stuff. And even though you're not doing it as much as you used to, it's still, there's a lot of knowledge to be gained there by going back and listening to, all the stuff that you put out there.
Well, that's why we wanted you to be the first one that was a non-BWO member. We wanted to obviously, show love to our family first, but we wanted to get you on. And man, we've really run over an hour and 36. But y'all, this is Joel. We're gonna give you a little minute to talk about your food and talk about your podcast. He's got Sparky coming on, and
yes, sir. No Bullish podcast on YouTube. No Bullish TV. I make something called Raw Dog Jerky, and I make a brand called Bougie under Raw Dog Jerky, and I actually eat it. It's really good. It's ground chicken breast. I added boneless chicken thigh to it now, which turned it to a whole nother level. I just understood that I needed to add a
little fat in there, baby.
Fat in there to make and my dogs, shots fired, almost took a digit off. So I knew, and he's one of those dogs that know how to take a treat from me, So I knew at that point that, oh wow, this is actually better. So I've actually blended up a better blend. I actually ship it out. I'm gonna make myself more available and go to shows with this brand and do vendor booths with this brand of dog treats. That's how much faith I have in it. I fell off for it for a while, just a few things that happened to me personally that I had to, pump the brakes, but it's back on and popping right now. And it's crack for dogs personally, man. If you ask me, my cat even eats it. So
yeah, shoot me your Cash App, bro. I'm gonna get some. You said you can ship it.
I do ship it. I'm waiting on packages right now. I'm waiting on packages right now.
Dogs loved it.
Yeah. So there's some people whose dogs, they were like, oh, it's okay. But I would say 95% of the people who I've given it to, they gotta watch their digits.
So y'all, this is Joel on Shots Fired. He's got other dogs too. He's a man that got his hand in many hats, bro. Hey, hats off to you. Hey, much love, much respect for what you're doing. You've always been a supporter of us in the BWO, and bro, if you ever need anything, hey, you let us know. And if y'all didn't learn nothing tonight, don't watch the next one. Because if you can't learn tonight, you didn't learn. And I've enjoyed it, bro. Like I said, I missed the other week, but life is life and all that, but definitely glad we got to chop it up. Raw Dog is the food. I'm going to order some from him tonight, and when I get it in, I'm going to go live and let you know and show you feeding my dogs and stuff.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Y'all go support him, and Jerry, appreciate you putting in a lot of work on this, bro. Jerry's the backbone brains behind this thing. All I do is just show up and open up a little box. Jerry's the one who does this. So shout out to you too, Jerry. And man, it's
Jerry,
been a good night, y'all. I appreciate it.
I just want to thank y'all, man. I just want to appreciate y'all, man, to be the first person that's not an official. I am BWO,
Yeah, baby.
I always
You
rep
honorary
BWO.
member, baby.
So, but not to be, actual member, but to be a first person that's outside of BWO, man, to be a part, man. I really appreciate that. And Jerry, man, for your short time that you've been into American Bully World, man, you've done an exceptional job, man, for everything that you've brought to the table, man, for people, man. And that's why I have you on my platform all the time, man. There's times that you fell asleep on my platform. I still have your snoring ass on up there because you know what?
I always had a bourbon though, didn't I?
Yeah, this is my guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro.
But it's all love, man. And I thank you so much, Lance, man. You've been a person that I looked at as the I want a spirit like he has, man. Because even if you was 5'4" and 130 pounds, I'd still look at you as a size that you are right now, because that's just what you bring. That's what you bring to the table. Your attitude that you bring to the table, to this game, man. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for everything y'all doing in y'all platform, man.
Love, bro. Yeah, good talk, y'all. BWO out, bro.
Yes, sir. Have a wonderful one.
All right, see y'all.
Damn, Lance, just fucking cut the shit off.